Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be ranking every map ever in MM2, including holiday maps and maps that were removed. I won't be including the original mill base, as it was in the game for a week in 2014, and I don't know really much about the map. And I won't be including any maps for bonus rounds like Pond or Barn, but I will be including some unreleased maps like Beach and Nightclub, which are maps that were almost added to the game and maps that everybody knows about, but I won't be adding unknown maps that weren't completely finished like Casino or Zoo. But with that out of the way, let's begin. Alright, coming in at last place to no one's surprise is Lab 2. This map is absolutely awful, and if you were never able to play in this map, you should consider yourself lucky. This entire map was just a giant maze, so yeah, it comes in at last place. Next up is a map I never really thought of as a bad map, but after thinking about it, I really don't like it, and that is Mansion 1. Mansion 1 is the same layout as Mansion 2, except the build looks really outdated, and there are a bunch of really weird things in the map, like a computer lab or a dumpster. This map looks more like an under construction warehouse than a mansion, so comes in second to last. Next up is a map that seems pretty fun to play on, but isn't great in my opinion, and that is Hospital 1. I like that the map is really dark, but the build looks really boring, and the map is just pretty small. But speaking of Hospital 1, now on to number 29 is Hospital 3. This is my least favorite map currently in the game, and a positive is that the build looks pretty good, but I feel like it's too bright and it just blinds you. Also, the map layout is pretty boring and small, and there's nothing really much to it, so overall it's a pretty bad map in my opinion. Next up at 28 is Bank 1. I just don't like the layout, and the build isn't anything special, but I do like all the Easter eggs on the map. And then now on to number 27 is Bank 2. The layout is even worse on this map. The entire map is basically just vents, but the build is pretty good, which bumps it up over Bank 1. Coming in at number 26 is End Studio, another map that looks good, but I feel like there's too much stuff everywhere and it just makes everything messy and the layout isn't great. There isn't anywhere really to escape the murderer, you just kind of have to juke them the whole time. Now on to number 25 is Police Station. This map has really bland colors and doesn't look very good, and it's also way too big, and it's the worst map to be murder on. And it's also probably the worst map to be sheriff on because you'll never actually be able to find the murderer, so overall just a pretty bad map. Alright, coming in at number 24 is Manor. This map would probably be second to worst if it didn't have the coin spawns buffed, but the map still isn't great. The map itself looks really cool, and it was great for scary mode, but for regular MM2, it doesn't really fit as a map, but overall it's not terrible. Okay, on to number 23 is Biolab. This is easily the most bland map in the entire game, but it is a really big map, and I think big maps are better, so I can't put it too far down the list, but overall it just is really bland, which hurts the map, but it isn't horrible. Alright, next up at 22 is a map maybe more hated than Lab 2, and that is Office 2. Everybody hates this map because it's horrible for Innocent and Sheriff, because every corner is a dead end, but I have to put it higher on the list because when you're murder on this map, it's absolutely incredible, and I'm actually kind of sad that it got removed. Okay, coming in at 21 is House 1. This map doesn't even seem like it's real, to be honest, and I've never played on the map, so I don't really know how good of a map it is to play on or not. It's basically just the layout of House 2, but everything is really oversized, so I don't really know how to rank it, so I think 21 is probably fair. Next up at number 20 is Office 3. This is probably the most average map in the game. It's really good for collecting coins, and it's decent for all roles, nothing really else much to it. And then number 19 is Mineshaft. I know a lot of people really like this map, but in my opinion, it's just okay. I feel like the map is way too dark, and the layout isn't as good as Mansion 2, but overall, it's a decent map. Okay, number 18 is Nightclub, and this is where I would say the maps start getting pretty good. This map looks really cool, but I don't really know how the flow of the map would really work. Obviously, this was never released into the game, so we won't really know, but overall, a pretty good map. Alright, coming in at number 17 is Hotel 1. It pains me to put this map so low, but all of the other maps are just better in my opinion. The map is pretty basic and the floors are a little too small, but it's still a classic MM2 map and is still very good. Next up at number 16 is Hospital 2. The layout isn't great, but the build is very solid, and it has one of my favorite hiding spots ever, where you could hide in the elevator, completely hidden in darkness. I always really liked this map when it was still in the game, and it comes in at number 16. Now on to number 15, which is Log Cabin. Log Cabin's layout isn't great, but the build looks really good, and it has some of the best hiding spots in the game, so overall a very good map. Next up at number 14 is a map I used to like a lot more, and that is Workplace. Before the last couple of years, I feel like nobody liked Workplace, but it was always one of my favorite maps. I really don't know why, it's kind of bland and there's nothing really much to the map, but I always really liked it. But for some reason in the last couple of years, everyone keeps voting this map every single time it appears over maps I prefer way more, and I'm kind of getting sick of it, but I still think it's one of the best maps in the game. Next up is a map that has grown on me playing it during the Christmas update, and that is Station. I always felt like this map felt oversized, but it is a big map, and I like bigger maps more, and all of the builds look pretty good, so overall a very good map. Coming in at number 12 is Mineshaft 2. This is an overall really good map. The build is really good, and there are a bunch of really good Easter eggs, and the layout is definitely solid, so it comes in at number 12. On to number 11, and this is where the maps start getting really good in my opinion. We have Farmhouse. I really like how the map is split in half, with the barn and field, and then with the actual house, and then the map looks really cool, and it definitely is a decent size, so overall, a very good map. Alright, kicking off the top 10 is the newest map in the game, Ski Lodge. I really like how the map looks. The Christmas vibe and the colors are really nice, and it definitely is a decent layout, so overall I think this is a very good map. Alright, next up at number 9 is House 2. This is a pretty small map and definitely good for being the murderer, but it's still decent for Innocent 2. A lot of people definitely like this map, and I do too. It's very good. Number 8 is another unreleased map, and that is Beach House. The map proportions are a little too small, and its layout would probably have to be fixed a little bit, but the map looks absolutely incredible. It's one of the best looking maps in the game, and it has some of the coolest hiding spots, and it comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is Hotel 2. This just takes Hotel 1 and improves on it. The floors are bigger and it doesn't feel squished anymore. The build is way more detailed, and I really like the brown and green color scheme. This is definitely one of the most underrated maps in the game in my opinion, and it comes in at number 7. Number 6 is a map I feel like people hate more and more each year, and that is Mansion 2. Most people complain about how the map is a square, and it's too hard for the murderer, but if you just use Haste or X-Ray, it's actually one of the most fair maps for each roles in my opinion. The build looks pretty good, and it has some pretty good hiding spots too, so overall a very good map. Coming in at number 5 is a map that I wasn't originally going to put this high, but I decided it's actually really good, and that is Ice Castle. This map looks absolutely fantastic, and the ice looks really cool, and the castle looks great. This is a really fun map to play on, since there's a bunch of places you can just jump around everywhere and juke the murderer, so overall, Ice Castle is a great map, and it comes in at number 5. Alright, just missing the top 3, and coming in at number 4 is Factory. The layout of this map is really good, and also the map just looks good in general. There aren't any dead ends for you to die as innocent, and there's a bunch of places you can escape from, but it's actually not that hard of a map for murderer, so it's actually a very good map, and it comes in at number 4. Starting the top 3 is Research Facility. I prefer Factory as a map over Research Facility because I feel like there are too many things in the way, and it actually kind of makes it pretty hard for being murderer. But the interactives on this map just bump it past Factory. The cloning machine, the closing doors, the roll scanning machine, and the teleporters are just all super fun to use, and the blue color all around the map looks really cool, so overall a super fun map to play on, and the map itself is really good, so comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, which is in my opinion the best non-holiday or removed map in the game, is Millbase. This map is basically everything I want from an MM2 map. It's a big map, but it's not impossible for being a murderer. As long as you have X-Ray, the map looks really good, and it's a great map for collecting coins, and it has the legendary 1v1 area. There's so many places you can juke the murderer, and there are a bunch of really good hiding spots, so overall, a fantastic map, but there's still one map that's better. Alright, coming in at number 1, which is in my opinion the best map in MM2, is Workshop. Workshop is such a good map. There are a bunch of fun interactives on the map, like the trapdoor or the elf morph. The map looks really good and works perfectly as a Christmas map. The map is decently big, but not too big where it's impossible for the murderer. Everything about this map is just really good. It is some of the best hiding spots in the game, and it's absolutely fantastic, so comes in at number 1. So yeah, that is me ranking every map ever in MM2. Tell me in the comments what your favorite map is. And yeah, I think that'll be for today's video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so I'll troll it outro. Peace.